Hey, what's going on? It's February 2026 and the race season has kicked off. It's early in the year, and for a lot of people, that means resolutions. But for us runners, it usually just means setting goals, all kinds of goals, whether it's finally starting to run, whether it's running a race we've never ran before, or that big one, that first marathon. For a lot of runners, it's just about PRs, just trying to get better, just trying to get faster. So today I'm going to talk to you about my goals for 2026, and I'd sure love to hear what you're planning for your running journey this year. So let's talk about goals. Hey, what's going on? Matthew here. Thank you so much for joining me. And if you're joining me for the first time, welcome to Veloz Running, where we're talking about all things running. So if you can do me a huge favor, doesn't cost you anything, but it sure does help me a lot. Slide your hand down, hit that subscribe button, and smash that like button. Today we're talking about goals. Goals are very important in life. We have to set things, we have to want to accomplish things, and you have to have goals. Like that old saying goes, if you fail to plan, you're planning to fail. And especially in running, there's all kinds of goals for all different people. Everybody's trying to accomplish something in their running journey. I hope they are. But let me just talk to you about goals specifically. I teach a leadership class, and in my class, I always teach leaders that although goals are very, very important, leaders can't only be goal oriented. They have to be growth oriented. What I mean by that is if you're going to set a goal, the goal has to help you grow and become better and become and get you obviously closer to whatever the overall goal is. You set a goal, and then there's a lot of goals that get you to the main goal. But those goals should help you grow, because we can go through life accomplishing a lot of things and get nothing done. And I know that sounds weird, but if we're not just here in life just to check off boxes and say, I did this, and this, but never really grew, never really got better. And that goes in anything in life. And so it's important that when we set goals, that they're actually helping us grow and become better and helping us achieve the overall goal in life. And when it comes to running, that's very, very important. And it's also important to understand where you are. It's to recognize where you are and not set and be able to set obtainable goals. We sometimes set goals that are just way too far, or too not that we could ever can't ever achieve those goals. But there's a lot of goals in between that we need to achieve first. And sometimes we set an unattainable goal, and then we kind of get discouraged because we haven't we haven't got there. It doesn't come fast, or just we're struggling. When really we need to set some goals in between and shorter goals to get us to that main goal. Again, I used an example before. If somebody, I help a lot of people and train them run. In running, and if somebody comes up to me and says, hey, I've never run before, but I'd like to qualify for Boston next month, that's an unattainable goal. And I'm not trying to crush anybody's spirit, because the people can accomplish great things, but we want to set something that's a little bit more attainable. Not that person could never make it to Boston, but we need to set some other goals and accomplish a couple of other goals before we get to that one. So let's not set ourselves up to fail. If you've never run before, and you're thinking about running, let me just help you with something. Let's set a goal that's really simple and really achievable. And I know this is going to sound pretty weird, pretty elementary, and I'm not trying to in any way talk down to anybody, but sometimes the goal for somebody who doesn't run is wanting to run. Sometimes the goal is just getting off the couch. Sometimes that's a good goal. It's as simple as that. Can we just get off the couch? Can we go outside for a little while? How about we go sit outside today instead of sitting inside doing whatever we're doing? And I love that Miss Jennifer Crosby, For the Love of Ghosts, the website is igotofthecouch.com, because for a lot of people that is a huge goal. It is just about getting off the couch and going outside. How about we walk to the mailbox? How about we walk down the street? How about we start with walking 5 minutes, walking 10 minutes, and just adding from there, walking around the block? Let's just start with that. How about we set a goal of getting outside 3 times a week, 2 times a week, whatever it may be. Those simple goals, that's usually starts. I don't care how long the race is, whether it's a 1 mile race or a 26-mile race. They all start with one step, with the first step. And so a lot of times we we forget the little things, and we struggle. We can't be off the couch and say, I know there's these goals that, from the couch to the 5K, which I agree, I think that works. But first we got to get out the door. First we got to put some shoes on and step outside. And so, and I know, I'm not belittling those goals or putting anybody down or anything like that. What I'm saying is that those are attainable goals, but we have to celebrate those little victories that we got outside. We went outside. That's a huge thing for a lot of people. I know it sounds weird to a lot of you runners that are listening to me, because we get outside all the time. But there's a lot of people out there that are struggling just with that. That have been. I'm talking to those that are saying, "Man, I've been wanting to get outside. I've been wanting to run. I've been wanting to do this, and years go by, and I still haven't done it." I'm talking to that person that has just struggled with starting that running journey. Let's just get outside. Can we just get outside? Let's just walk around the block. Let's just get outside on the porch. Do something to just get yourself outside. Get used to going outside, and then we can start adding from there. But let's take that first step out of the way. Okay, so let me share with you what my goals are for 2026. And I'm going to start from the longest distance to the shortest distance and everything in between. I have a lot of goals. I sat down and was thinking about my goals. And obviously you have these primary goals, but I went ahead and sat down and thought, you know what, I wonder what I would do at this distance, and this distance. And I started thinking of all these different distances. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and put those goals down as well. And so my biggest goal, I would think, as far as effort and training, is that marathon. I run a marathon, or sign up for a marathon every December. It used to be the Rock and Roll in San Antonio. Now it's the San Antonio Marathon, which was the inaugural marathon last year, and I ran that. And so I'm signed up already for this year, 2026, December 2026. It's always the first weekend of December. And so that is the goal. And now I break it down in goals. For those of you that train for marathons and know what it's like to train for a marathon, the number one goal, I just talked about simple goals and setting small goals and all these little things in between. Let me tell you something. When it comes to training for a marathon, the number one goal is to make it to the starting line, is to get through the training, the 16, the 20 weeks, whatever that is, and make it through the training. That's the number one goal. Make it healthy, make it through it healthy, without injury, and accomplishing all the mileage that you plan for your training. And just the first number one goal, we're not trying to make it to the finish line, we're trying to make it to the starting line. If I can make it to the starting line and get through the training, you got a pretty good chance of getting through it. And then as far as the low goal, always is to complete it, finish it. That's one of those races you have no idea what's going to happen during the race. You can be trained, you can be fully trained, fully prepared, and on race day you have no idea. I've experienced all kinds of crashes and injuries and just all kinds of things. Running the heat, running the cold, running the rain. You have no idea what's going to happen that day. I got sick a couple of times, and so the number one goal is to finish it. Once it starts, right, to finish it. The next goal, the low goal would be a 4:30. Again, I'm not racing that. I'm not trying to qualify for Boston. I'm just trying to accomplish it, have a good time in it. And so a 4:30, 4 hours and 30 minutes for me is great. I would like that. Now the high goal would be a sub 4. Is to go under 4 hours. And so we'll see what happens. Put in the work and put in the training, and we just show up and do our best. But those are the goals. It's show up, make it through the training to the starting line, finish the race, 4:30 marathon, and then the high goal would be cool for a sub 4, a 3:59 would be awesome. All right, so then we're gonna bring it down to half marathon. Now, I don't get to run those very often, but there's a few that are going to be here mid-year that I might jump in on. If I do get in it, my goal is a 1:45. And so 1 hour and 45 minutes would be great for me. Again, when it comes to this longer distance, I just like to enjoy. I would like to run a half marathon as a training run through once I start my marathon training, and use it as a training run. And so 1:45 for me would be perfect. Here's another thing that I want to talk about when it comes to goals that I didn't mention earlier. Well, I kind of mentioned it when I talked about know where you are as far as your abilities and your physical fitness. Just be honest with yourself, but also your age. And I know people say age is just a number. I believe it. I understand that. But I'm not 25 years old anymore. I'm 56, and here in a couple of months I'm going to turn 57. And so Whether I like it or not, my mind wants to go and set the same goals every year and harder goals every year because I think I can do it. And I'm not saying I can't, but I have to understand where I am physically, and it just takes me a little bit longer to recover. Maybe not so much that I can't do the goals, but the recovery is different, and so I have to be conscious of that, aware of that, and adapt to that, and make the necessary changes to that. So when I go through my goals are very conservative, I guess, because compared to a lot of other people, they're setting some really high goals for the year, and that's only because I'm aware of my age. You know, if I was 10 years younger, the goals would be different. But I'm aware of my age and where I am physically and my abilities. But I'm still setting goals that are going to stretch me, that are going to challenge me, that are going to push me. I'm not surrendering to my age. I'm just saying I'm fully aware of how old I am, and I can't believe I get to thinking about it. In a few years, I'm gonna be 60 years old, and hopefully still running and going strong. But that's just another thing. Yes, we want to set goals, and age is just a number. But let's not put ourselves out there in danger and cause injuries and get ourselves hurt. You know, we got to be smart. And so, okay, so my 13.1 goal would be 145, and then I have a 10K goal. Okay, I do run a couple 10Ks throughout the year. I'm fixing to run the Capital 10,000 in April, and so that's always a great race. Now that's a tough race, I will say that. It's probably from what I hear, it's the biggest 10K in the state of Texas, and so probably about 20,000 runners come out there, and it is tough. The first 3 miles are pretty much uphill, and then you come down and you cruise back. But it's a tough, and they're big hills. I'm not talking about just like rolling hills. These are some huge hills, and so yeah. So I'm gonna shoot for a 10K goal this year for 45 minutes. If I can do 45, again, I don't do a lot of 10Ks, one or two throughout the year, so I'm not gonna get a lot of chances at it. But a 45 to me, a 45 or under, and I'm good with that. Okay, here's one of my main goals besides the marathon. One of my main goals that I shoot for every year, and that is the 5K goal. My goal for this year and every year is to go sub 20. Now, I just talked to you about my age. It is getting very, very challenging every year. The last time I did it, I think was 3 years ago. I ran in 1957. My son came home from college in summer. We trained together. That really helped me a lot to be able to chase him. We ran in a very flat course. It was hot. It was summer. I think it was end of June, and it took all I had. I was chasing somebody. I quit about 3 or 4 times during that race. It was so hot, and I was pushing so hard. But I was so happy I had somebody to chase, like literally right behind them. Towards the end, I finally was able to kick it in, and I remember seeing that 19 on the timer, and I was giving it everything I had. Crossed the line 19:57, barely did it. That was the last time, and that was about 3 years ago. Last year, early in the season, probably about March, I ran a 20:18, and so I thought I had a chance at it again at 50. I was 55 at that time, and then the very following week, I strained my calf and couldn't run for about 3 weeks, and then I started training again and got sick, and so it just kind of went downhill after that, and just never recuperated, never got back down again, and then by the time we got to June, July, I started training for the marathon. So I was close last year, and so this year I'm hoping I can get that done. I've run 1 5K this year, and I ran a 21:39, so I'm right there where I need to be. Just that was the feeler race. I hadn't run a 5K since probably September of last year when I started training for the marathon. So I just went out there. I wanted to see where I was. I know where I am, what I need to do. So I'm 1:39 seconds away, or 1:40 for that sub. And so that is the main goal. Can it be done at my age? I don't know. I know there's probably plenty of people. If you're out there in the 50s and you've done a sub 20, I'd love to hear from you. Comment below. Tell me what I need to do. I'd love to know what you're doing. But it is getting harder every year to hit that sub 20. Again, I haven't done it in 3 years, but I'm going for it again this year. I believe I can. And so that's the big goal of the year, 5K. And the one cool thing about it is there are plenty of races. Obviously, I'm going to shoot for it on those flat ones because there's a lot of hilly ones out there. But that is the goal, sub 25K. All right, next goal is the 1K. I'm going to go ahead and drop down to 1K. 1K, I'd like to do, oh, sorry, no, let's go for the 1 mile. The 1 mile goal. I'm gonna do a 1 mile time trial. My son is home, and so he's gonna help me with that. And I'm hoping to go 5:59, sub 6, 5:59. I know there's a lot of guys out there that'll go 5 minutes flat or probably under that. My goal 5:59. If I could do 5:59, I am golden. I'm good. So the 1 mile goal for me this year is sub 6, 5:59 or better. The 1K goal, 1,000 meters, I'm shooting for a 340 in the 1K. And then in the 800, I'm shooting for a 245. The 400, I would like to go 110, sub 110, maybe 109. That is rough. I haven't done a 110. I think a couple of years ago I ran a 113 in training, just when I was doing 400s. When I do this one, these goals are going to be one all-out goals. I'm not going to do it part of my training. It's going to be a day when I go out there and just shoot for it. Maybe I'll train afterwards after I try to go for this goal. But I ran a 113. We were doing 400s, and in one of those 400s, I hit a 113. So that's the closest I've gotten. And so I'm shooting for a 110. That would be cool at the 400. The 200. I'm shooting for 30 seconds. 30 seconds or sub 30 seconds. 29 would be good, but 30 seconds would be good. And then I decided to go ahead and throw in that 100 meters. I haven't run 100 meters. I used to when I was younger in high school. I was a sprinter. That's what I ran: 100, 200, sprint relay, 400, 1600 meter relays. That was my specialty. And so I decided to throw that in, and I'm just going to put a conservative number. I wouldn't even know. I haven't done one. I don't remember the last time I ran 100 meters. So I think 13 seconds. I'm going to shoot for 13 seconds, see if I can do that. And so there you have it. 26.2, 4 hour barrier, 13.1 half marathon is 145. 10K is 45 minutes. 5K is sub 20. 1 mile is sub 6. 1K is 340. 800 is 245. 400 is 110. 200 is 30 seconds, and 100 is 13 seconds. Those are my goals for this year. I'm gonna do everything I can to try to accomplish them. I don't know how or when, where that's gonna happen. I'll try to make a video for each one of those. Most of these goals are probably gonna happen on the track. And then obviously those 5Ks are just about every Saturday, every other Saturday. Remember, for the love of gold, IGotOffTheCouch.com. You need to come out here, and if you're if you're sub 20, come out here and let me chase you, and let me you be my pacer and help me accomplish this goal. And so now again, I would love for you to hear what your goals are. So comment below. I'd love to hear what your goals are for this year, what you're trying to accomplish, your PRs, whatever it is for this year. I'd love to hear it. Again, I think goals are great. I think important. We need to have something to shoot for. I put mine out there. Y'all gonna have to hold me accountable now to make sure I get them done. I was thinking about not doing this because now I have to actually go do this now that I put it out there. And so here we go. Goals for 2026, they're out there, and it's time to put in the work and get it done. So thank you for joining me. I really appreciate your time and hanging out with me. And as always, do me a big favor, hit that subscribe button, smash that like button, connect with us. We'll connect with you, and let's run together. Take care. Be blessed.